Welcome to A Moment of Zen. Time to sit back and relax as model, actress, mentor, and supermom Zen Sams takes you on a sexy and wild ride, covering the latest in film, fashion, pop culture, cryptocurrency, fintech, cannabis, and entertainment from the millennial mom's perspective. Here's your host, Zen Sams.
Hello, my beautiful tri-state area. Welcome to our 152nd episode. It's always a pleasure to spend my time with you on the airwaves. Thank you for listening and interacting with me on social media. That truly makes it all worthwhile. Make sure to follow me at Zen Sams. That's Zen with an X, not a Z. And also remember that all episodes of A Moment of Zen stream 24/7 on Kathy Ireland Worldwide, Your Home TV and channel partners. And you can find us, of course, on our YouTube channel. In our Hydration with Heart segment brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut, we're featuring actor and writer Johnathon Schaech. Jonathan exploded onto the scenes as one of Hollywood's most handsome leading men in Jocelyn Moorhouse's How to Make an American Quilt and Tom Hanks's directorial debut, That Thing You Do, back in 1996. He joins me today to chat all about Blue Ridge, the series, which is based on the successful 2020 film Blue Ridge. And this is a 6-episode procedural crime drama set in the Forbidden Mountains of North Carolina, where Sheriff Justin Wise, a modern-day Western hero, endeavors to uphold the law while living in this small Appalachian town. Johnathon Schaech's performance, I will say, is probably going to be one of his better ones in this leading role. He's going to join us to chat all about that production and its premiere April 7th on the Cowboy Way channel. Now, up next in our Discover Your Potential segment, brought to you by Bodyline, we're joined by our newest contributor, podcaster, and host, Anna Devere. Anna is joined by singer and performer Alex Boyé, known for his African-infused music that has gained over 1 billion views on YouTube. They join me today to chat career, mental health crisis, and the power of music. In the Scandals segment brought to you by Your Home TV and their channel partners, we're featuring Imran Ansari of Idala Bertuna Kamens, otherwise known as ABK Law, right here in the heart of New York City. He's also a regular contributor and legal analyst on law and crime. Today, we're chatting about Young Thug's RICO case and the use of rap lyrics in criminal cases. In our Going Deep Express segment brought to you by CO2 Lift, we're behind the scenes at Beauty Through Science. Today we're highlighting Dr. Mark Epstein. He's a dual board-certified plastic surgeon and founder of Epstein Plastic Surgery of Long Island, New York, as well as Dr. Michael Naistut. He's medical director of Fifth Avenue Wellness Medicine and anesthesiology specialist. We're going to be chatting about the many use cases of carboxytherapy for your skin, including the skin down there. Stay tuned for our Hydration with Heart segment featuring Johnathon Schaech, brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut. We're chatting all about Blue Ridge, the series premiering April 7th on the Cowboy Way channel. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut, 100% pure coconut water. Imagine a drink that's nutrient-rich, powerfully refreshing, naturally sweet with no added sugars, not from concentrate, 0 additives, low in calories, absolutely no artificial flavors, and is so tasty that it will become your new favorite beverage. Enter Once Upon a Coconut, the absolute best tasting coconut water you will ever try. Available in 4 refreshing flavors: pure, chocolate, pineapple, and sparkling with energy. Do your taste buds a favor and pick up some today at onceuponacoconut.com.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Up next in our Hydration with Heart segment brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut, we're featuring actor and writer, our dear friend Johnathon Schaech. Jonathan exploded onto the scene as one of Hollywood's most handsome leading men in Jocelyn Moorhouse's How to Make an American Quilt back in 1995. And if you recall, Tom Hanks's directorial debut, That Thing You Do. Since then, Jonathan has shown incredible versatility as an actor. And over the last 20 years, he's starred in over 160 Hollywood productions, working opposite some of the most acclaimed actors, producers, writers, and directors. He captivated television audiences as the eccentric movie star in Showtime's hit series Ray Donovan and has portrayed comic book legend Jonah Hex on the first 3 seasons of DC's Legends. Most recently, He's reprised his lead role on the upcoming Blue Ridge, the series, which makes its worldwide premiere on April 7th at 8 p.m. on Cowboy Way Channel. He joins me today to chat all about Blue Ridge, the series, which is based on the successful 2020 film Blue Ridge. Now, this is a 6-episode procedural crime drama set in the mountains of North Carolina, where Sheriff Justin Wise, who's a modern Western hero, endeavors to uphold the law while living in a small Appalachian town that time and justice has forgotten. I can't wait to hear all about this one. It sounds so exciting and suspenseful. Welcoming now to the show is the amazing Johnathon Schaech. Welcome, superstar.
Thank you for having me here. I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, we've chatted before. You're a dear friend of the show. You predate back to our original first run on iHeart, and what a success it was. I remember we covered some of your poignant moments as an actor. Now, bringing us full circle to your character, Sheriff Justin Wise in Blue Ridge, the series. How has the character evolved since the 2020 film?
I don't think that Justin Wise has really evolved since that movie. He's still the old school guy with a deep moral credo that he follows, and he wants to be with his family. He wants to spend more time with his family, but his job just keeps getting in the way.
And Blue Ridge is set, we know, in the mountains of North Carolina. How did the location and setting influence the storytelling and atmosphere of this particular series?
What's out in the middle of nowhere? Well, it feels like out in the middle of nowhere. And there's a different people do things differently in the country than they do in the city. So these country folk, they have their own rules that they go by. And Justin's a former veteran who was in California and left California to go to a small town to be with his family. Became sheriff of this town, and so he's an outsider trying to regulate and keep the law.
You know, it's interesting because I haven't seen it yet, but the setting itself, to me, seems like it adds a very unique flavor to the series. You know, the lush but forbidding mountains, the way that the short form treatment has, right? It creates an atmosphere that's both beautiful and mysterious, and this offers such a fresh take on the crime drama genre. It's like the perfect blend of natural beauty and suspenseful storytelling. Now, comparisons to other series in the genre are essential for context. Okay, so for instance, how does Blue Ridge, the series, differentiate itself from other procedural crime dramas? Is it more character driven? Does it have a distinct visual style, or does it bring a fresh narrative approach to the table?
It definitely is unique. It reminds me of more of an old school procedural. Like it reminds me of Longmire, but without the psychedelics. So it's for a younger audience. It's PG-13, so that I can sit there with my son and watch it, who's 10 years old. There's not over, explicit, sexual tension and anything. There's violence, but it's usually just these two fists going at it with somebody. I carry a gun, try not to use it, but of course I have to. So I think it's unique. It reminds me of a little bit of Dukes of Hazzard, some parts of it. Some things I was like, this feels like Dukes of Hazzard, which is not a bad thing. I love Dukes of Hazzard. There's a sense of humor to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have.
I remember Dukes of Hazzard. Gosh,
Yeah.
I feel old.
I love that.
Now, you've had a remarkable career with over 160 Hollywood productions. What drew you to Blue Ridge, and what do you find unique about this project compared to your previous work?
Well, how it came to me is really quite interesting. So I took my family. I had a 10-year-old. I had a little boy who was going into school, and my wife is from Nashville, Tennessee. So we decided we wanted to get out of LA around 2018, and we moved to this town. And when I did, I left all my representation, everything behind me, because I realized that I wasn't living to my full potential in my life. I was on the cover of Vanity Fair with Will Smith in 1998. It was the first cover of Leading Men to Watch, and all those guys on the cover, they all their careers propelled, and they were all leading men. And I really wasn't a leading man. I was more of a character actor, which people respect my work, but I wasn't really living my full potential. So I let everything go. I decided that no matter what, I would give over everything and allow my higher power to guide me to wherever it would guide me. And it took me to the place where I called up a couple friends of mine, one of them, Nick Gonzalez. I said, Nick, I need to find work. There's no way for me to find work. I don't have any representation anymore. And he said, you got to meet this guy, Gary Wheeler. And he connected us. And Gary called me up and offered me the TV movie called Blue Ridge. And he said, you got to read it. It was about a man who left California, moved to a small town to be with his family. And it fit right in where I was. And as I was letting go and letting God, I found my way to Blue Ridge. And that's probably, if that answers your question, I think it does.
Oh, it so does. There are no coincidences, my dear. And what this really just is a testament to, you are exactly where you are supposed to be. And it just warms my heart to hear how the story came about. Now I want to watch it even more because I can almost sense that you've poured your definite heart and soul into this one. Now, given your experience working with a variety of acclaimed actors and producers and writers and directors, what has been the most memorable or influential moment in your career so far?
Oh, it's a tough question. I always give the Tom Hanks answer because he was so influential in my life and my career and everything that I do. Um, but the way I think that we set up the tone for Blue Ridge, that it would be a safe environment for creatives. Everyone had open communication and didn't feel like there was anyone who was, more powerful than anyone else. That we were all on the equal playing field. Um, Even though there's people that are Gary's the showrunner, I'm the lead actor. We just made it a safe space, and that's one thing that I wanted to bring wherever I went. I wanted to make it safe for creatives because it wasn't so safe in Hollywood when I was first starting out. And over the course of the last several years, we stood up against some of the bullies in Hollywood and made it safer. So that's what I wanted to bring the most to Blue Ridge.
You're so mature.
I wasn't. I think I've become more of an adult. I've become more like my character, Justin Wise, for sure.
Well, now let's go back to Justin. So Justin is a modern Western hero. It's always interesting to me to see how these characters navigate the challenges of enforcing the law in small, forgotten towns, so to speak, right? But I'm curious about the complexities of his character and how he handles the balance between duty and the unique dynamic of this Appalachian community. I mean, from How to Make an American Quilt to Ray Donovan, you've showcased incredible versatility as an actor. So how do you approach, in particular, like this diverse role that you took on? And were there any specific challenges, or were there any joys, or what were your, what was it like portraying a character like Sheriff Justin Wise?
Well, it's funny. There's a saying that we will become our parents, right? So my father was a Baltimore City police officer. He was a Baltimore City cop for 36 years.
Ah,
He's as blue gets. So when every time I've been on Blue Bloods, Chicago PD, I've always done these procedurals where I was a police officer, and this guy was different. He was the rock. He was the reflector of the community, and he had to, has to take on the challenges that the human beings, all the mistakes that human beings make. And that's reminded me when my father was a police officer. He was a beat cop in Baltimore City. He had a very different setting, but he was just dealing with the humans, and the mistakes that they made, and trying to set them right, like when to give them over to the authorities, or when to just kind of set them straight so they wouldn't falter in their life again. And that's what I feel Justin is. He really is. Like, he has a strong moral credo inside of him. He doesn't put up with any bull, and he does the right thing, whatever he thinks that right thing is.
it's interesting because these are the aspects of Sheriff Justin Wise's story that I guess you're excited for viewers to explore in the series. I mean, you've given it away so far in terms of who this man is, and I mean, with such a rich and varied career, there's definitely a particular genre and type of role that seems to be fulfilling you, and it's this, right? So I think you've come full circle and found a great way to reach your full potential, as you said
Yeah.
at the beginning. Now, Blue Ridge, the series we know premieres on April 7th on the Cowboy Way channel. What can viewers anticipate overall from the show, and how do you have and particularly, do you have any personal insights or favorite moments from filming? I'd love to know that you can share.
Well, my cast is sensational. Um, but the guest stars that come are special because I get to be part of a lot of the casting of the guest stars. Like Max Martini comes out. He's a personal friend of mine. Came out, played a wrestler. Every week something happens, and Justin's got to figure out how to make it right. Figure out who did it or what went wrong, or set the world back the way it was supposed to be. And Max came out to play. He was a wrestling promoter. My buddy Michael Hearn came out. He was a wrestler. And then I even got Ethan Embry from The Wonders, That Thing You Do, to come out and play a very important role in the piece. So, I think that's a lot of fun. Like each week, everything's a little different. Something goes wrong, and Justin's got to get it right. That same procedural that we've seen with, Longmire, and even when I did Blue Bloods, and it was like something with what was the crime that you had to solve, very much like a police officer does every single day of his life.
Right.
So the unique guest stars that we have come out, I'm looking forward to people getting to see them and kind of experiencing my diverse career, this long career that I have, and how I've been able to sustain these relationships that I can call somebody up and ask them to come out and play.
It's fantastic. Well, we are out of time, and the series sounds so promising. It sounds captivating. The setting sounds captivating, and it's a modern Western hero and the potential for intriguing crime narratives. This is all right up my alley. So I'm so eager to see how it stands out specifically in this genre, and whether it can be and whether it can specifically build on the success of the 2020 film. So I wish you all the best of luck, my dear friend. This should be a good one.
Thank you very much. I wish I had all your words and you could go around with me and do all the press for me, because you make it sound so much better than I could ever. And I appreciate that so much.
That was our Hydration with Heart segment, brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut. Check out Jonathan on the gram at Johnathon Schaech, and be sure to catch the worldwide premiere of Blue Ridge the series on April 7th at 8 p.m. Eastern on on cowboywaychannel.com, and keep up to date on Instagram at cowboywaytv. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Your Home TV with Kathy Ireland and their channel partners. Head to yourhometv.com for free, family-friendly programming, streaming 24/7.
Do you have the dream of starting and owning your own business, or know of someone who does? If so, check out Your Home Business program, where they inspire, equip, and encourage those who dream of owning and operating their own business. Check out Your Home Business on yourhometv.com.
Tune in to A Moment of Zen, Saturday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. on 710 WOR, the voice of New York. A Moment of Zen is sponsored by Body Align. Are you ready for a long winter's nap? Over 183 million adults have trouble sleeping at least once a week. That's why Body Align designed a wearable patch that helps you fall asleep faster, wake up feeling refreshed, and comes with a money-back guarantee. Try the Sweet Dreams patch today and get a buy one, get one free pack with the promo code DYP. Visit bodyalign.com and enter DYP at checkout, because discovering your potential starts with a great night's sleep. That's bodyalign.com.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. In our Discover Your Potential segment, brought to you by Bodyline, we're joined by our newest contributor, podcaster and host, Anna Devere. She's joined by singer and performer Alex Boyé. He's known for his African-infused music that has gained over 1 billion views on YouTube. He shared the stage with legendary artists, and his innovative YouTube videos keep him firmly grounded as a global phenomenon. With today being March 2nd, World Teen Mental Health Awareness Day, it's also important to mention how Alex proudly shares his talent as an official ambassador for many causes, including the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and focuses on improving the mental health of teens today. They join me to discuss his career, the teen mental health crisis, and the power of music. Welcoming now to the show are my dear friends. Welcome, superstars.
Hi.
Hey!
Thanks for having us on. This is so awesome. Woo.
Thank you, Alex.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
excited to have you.
Thank you. Thank you. We're going to have
Anna.
some fun. I just feel it.
Oh, I'm always about having fun. Anna, welcome back.
Thank you.
So, Alex, we'll start with you. You've had this amazing, incredible journey as an artist, gaining many accolades and accomplishments along the way, from season 10 of America's Got Talent to being a featured voice in Cruel Summer, which was a short film by Kanye West that premiered at the Cannes Film Festival, to even being named 2017 Artist of the Year and the grand prize winner in a music contest sponsored by Pepsi and Hard Rock Cafe. That's a lot. Could you tell us more about how you got to where you are today, and were you always sure that music was your path?
Yeah, I never knew it was going to be my path, but it became my saving grace because when I was 16, I got kicked out of my house. I lived on the streets for a while. This is on the streets of London where I was born and raised. And I was in a really, really bad way. And I used to go to this one nightclub and just dance my sorrows away. And one time I actually wanted to take my life. I was just going through so much pain. Had some abusive relationships, and in terms of like an uncle who basically sexually abused me for many, many months. And so I ran away from home, and I went to this nightclub. My goal was to take my life, but I was going to dance, get my dance on, you know what I'm saying? And then I was going to exit. That was it. While I was on the dance floor, the DJ says my name. And I'm like, wait, first of all, I'm 16 years old in this nightclub. I shouldn't even be there. So 21-year-old up. How does this guy know? Come to find out, I did this talent contest 2 weeks before. And then he said to me, Alex, I remember you. He said it on stage in front of everyone. He says, you keep going. I want to dedicate this song to you. And the lyrics to that song changed my life. And that's when I knew that I wanted to do music for the rest of my life.
Wait, what was the song?
I tried to find that for the 14 years. I've been trying to find what song that is. I was with a roommate, like from years back. We're driving to like 7-Eleven. He plays the song. My whole DNA starts shaking, right? Because it affects, I was like, what is going on right now? And it just dawned to me, something just spoke to me, said, that's the song that saved your life. So I decided to do a cover of it. That's kind of funny. It's not released yet, but it'll be soon. But it just changed my life. So the song is an old 80s song by an artist called D-Train. And there's a part in the verse that says, with the strength of your mind, you can be set free. You can overcome your past. Search deep inside. You can see your time will come at last. And it's like, keep on, it just kept going. Like, it was like not a spiritual song, but it was.
It spoke to your soul. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, pause right there. Anna, how did you first cross paths with Alex?
I know. How do I follow that? Okay. So it was this time last year. I had just performed in Nashville at the Bluebird Cafe. And for whatever reason, I was in a slump. And I know when I'm going into a dark place that I just need to hit a reset, right? So I took a nap that day. I just laid down. About 15 minutes in, our friend Billy Cole called and said, can you be on stage with Alex Boyé at a teen mental health suicide prevention, singing Bend Not Break with him? And I went, that took my breath away. That was a sign. I said yes. And that's how we met last year, this time.
What a beautiful story. So
Yeah.
everything comes full circle. There are no coincidences, and you are exactly where you are supposed to be. So Alex, you've had many breakout moments, and you've performed with legendary artists such as Jay-Z and Tim McGraw and George Michael and Missy Elliott and Justin Timberlake and the Beach Boys. I mean, I don't know who you haven't performed with.
Oh,
however,
so many more.
However, everyone knows that the life of a musical artist isn't always smooth.
Yes.
Why are you currently focusing on mental health for teens and suicide prevention in your speaking engagements?
Okay, the reason why you said something really interesting, Zen, where you said you've had many breakout moments, and then you talked about all my accolades, but none of those accolades made me happy. That's the problem with us. We look for accolades to make us feel important, but then also hoping that it'll make us feel better. And it doesn't. And what I'm starting to realize, like I remember I read this quote once that said, sometimes we find ourselves climbing the ladder of success, then we get to the top and we find we're leaning on the wrong side of the wall. Because all those accolades don't mean nothing if you ain't happy first. If you ain't happy with yourself, you can get a pile of money land in your hand, and that will last 3 seconds. And then you're like, okay, next. And so I had to find it I found it from my African roots, actually. Because you go to Africa and you go and you try and do a humanitarian service, look at the kids and see them smiling. Have you ever gone to service in Africa, a depressed kid in Africa? I needed to learn what it is that makes my people so happy, even when they have no accolades, no money, nowhere to live, nowhere to stay, no future. So I had to learn that. And I realized that it came from knowing that you are something special, whether you have someone tell you that or not.
Well, you are very special, my dear.
Oh, well, thank
And
you so
it's
much.
interesting because the focus on mental health is so important right now, these days. Millions of people in the US are affected by mental illness each year. And according to the CDC, 1 in 5 US adults live with a mental illness, and over 1 in 5 youth ages 13 to 18, either currently or at some point during their life, have had a serious, debilitating mental illness. And these statistics are staggering. Focusing on mental health for teens is extra important, in my opinion, because 50% of all lifetime mental illness begins by age 14. And
Yeah,
suicide, as we know, is the second leading cause of death among those kids aged 10 to 14, which is such a sad statistic. As a
yeah,
mother, this breaks my heart. Now, music and mental health may be more connected than we've ever thought. Now, your
yeah,
favorite song may not have the potential to not just sound good, but be good for you in terms of the emotion it makes you evoke. And music has been linked with positive effects on the
yes,
brain, such as improved mood, decreased anxiety, a better overall emotional well being. It's science. Research
yeah,
shows that music affects both dopamine and oxytocin levels, and even it lowers the levels of the stress hormone cortisol. Now, Anna, what role does music play? I know this is a big one for you
Mhm.
in your overall mental well being.
So I think everyone can relate to putting on a dance song when they want to blow off steam. That's one way. I also believe that music anchors you emotionally. Sometimes if you resist emotion, it'll start to eat you alive. I think it's really important to pay attention to your teen's playlist. I got really deep into my teen's playlist so that it was in my brain. I spotted things and I got to have a conversation that was real, and I didn't avoid the hard stuff. In fact, I said, that's universal. That feeling that you have, that right on the edge, that's really important, that you don't try to resist that emotion, that you're brave enough to admit to your teen, I feel the same as you. That's a conversation starter. And music is an emotional anchor for those kinds of
It connects
experiences.
us. My
It
daughter
does.
has been sleep trained and listening to baby Mozart lullaby since
yes,
she's in the womb. Now,
yes,
Alex, early last year, you faced some significant challenges, but when you decided to say yes to an invitation to speak to a full auditorium of school superintendents, the impact was incredible. And you are now also a highly sought after speaker, and your I Am a 10 musical presentation fills students and adults with so much hope. Tell us more about your "You Are a Number 10" campaign, and
well,
how
yeah.
are you spending your time these days?
Well, it really started from going back to the memory of me eating food out of trash cans on the streets of London when I was homeless. And what I realized is that, guess what? You guys do it every single day, everyone, all over the world, especially the kids. We eat mental trash out of mental trash cans every day. And that's where it's coming. I think I heard a quote. It was by Bruce Lee. And he says, don't speak negatively about yourself, even as a joke. Your body doesn't know the difference. Words are energy and cast spells. That's why it's called spelling. We hypnotize ourselves. When we say, I'm not going to make it today, do, 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 do. I'm a terrible person. Do, 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 do. Everything that comes out of our mouths is self-hypnotism. You know what? I'm going to have a great day today. Do, 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 do. I'm not going to beat myself up. I'm something that is worth it. I'm a 10. Do, do, do. So everything that comes out of our mouths is hypnotism for good or for bad. There's an Irish thought leader. I want to read this. He says, Emmett Fox, he says, whether you are generally happy, cheerful, low-spirited, or fearful, it depends on the quality of mental food upon which you diet yourself. We feed ourselves on a daily basis what we are thinking, by what we are saying, and by what we are watching. And so that's what I tell the kids. And it's not from me being a professor. I didn't even pass second grade, but I'm a professor of the streets. And I'm a professor of someone that wanted to take his life and lived because I realized that there was so much more to me than I thought. And I had to find that out to realize that I was a 10. Like, you see this 10 here, this $10 bill? If you scrunch it up, right, and you give it to a kid and you say, do you want it? They'll still want it. If you step on it, trample it, even spit on it, talk bad to it, I hate you, man, you suck, man, you stink, your breath smells of Tic Tacs, right? And then you say to the kid, will you still take it? And they'll say, yeah. And you're like, why? It's like, because its worth doesn't change. So no matter what, if you're trampled on, spit upon, the internet is always spewing out all kinds of negative stuff. All that stuff doesn't change your worth. And once a person recognizes that you can fail, but not be a failure, you can have a bad grade, but you don't have a bad career. If you realize that you can fall and fail, knowing that you're a 10 and that number never changes, it does something to you, and it gives you a little more resilience.
Very, very wise words. Thank you for sharing that. I love that analogy, and I love the spin you put on that $10 bill. Now I see it. Now I see its value is so much more worth than 10. Anna, I hear. So I heard you earlier tell me the story of when you first met in this incredible performance. So you performed together at this Teen Mental Health and Suicide Prevention Summit last year, where you joined the Tomorrow's Stars choir and you accompanied Alex on the song "Bend Not Break."
Mm.
What was that like?
Well, if you watch his audition tape for America's Got Talent, you'll know he's a force of nature. He's got the judges and he's got the crowd whipped up like 0 to 1,000 in seconds. So he's a force of nature. It's very surreal to be on stage with Alex. But I want to just say, as you hear him speak, I mean, performing is that special. There's something really special in the message. And it doesn't matter if 6 people are listening or an arena is listening. Alex has the vibrancy.
I don't pay you enough. Do you need this $10 here? Wow.
It's very true. And so, I mean, that's what you look for in a performer, but that's rare to me. That's really rare.
I love it. Now, Alex, very quickly, we have about a minute left, and I know that you have some incredible YouTube videos up there. You have 1 billion views on YouTube. You have a wide array of work posted, both covers and original songs, with your most popular video being an Africanized tribal cover of Let It Go from Frozen, featuring the One Voice Children's Choir. It's clear you're always on it and continuously working with to perfect your craft. Not everybody stays as committed as you do. What keeps you in the game with producing your music videos?
I think because I'm realizing now that it's affecting people. And the more I'm seeing the comments, it's like, oh, I've got to do more of this because it's working for me and, in my lane. And so I'm just enjoying just the experience of just having kids, especially the youth. That's how Anna and I connect. We literally have this vision of just youth all over the world, just being hugged through words, through music, through entertainment. And that's what we want to do.
That's beautiful. Anna, what's your discover your potential takeaway from this amazing artist?
So Alex is my hero because he dreams bigger than most people, and he keeps building. You're never too old to dream big, and that's infectious, and it's really important. So that's the message today. You're never too big to get down on the ground level. You're never too old to dream. And Alex, thank you for being such an accessible and wonderful artist.
Thank you.
Thank you both for coming on. This was an incredible segment. Very feel good. Alex, I wish you nothing but the best. You are so inspirational and definitely went where there is no path and left a great big journey. And Anna, thank you so much for being on, such a great guest.
Thank you, Zen.
Thank you for opening your heart and giving us a stage to be able to share our message. You're doing incredible things too. Thank you.
The pleasure is all mine. That was our Discover Your Potential segment. brought to you by Bodyline. Be sure to check out Alex Boyé on his YouTube channel at Alex Boyé Real. And of course, see more of Anna by heading to discoveryourpotentialshow.com. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Your Home TV with Kathy Ireland and their channel partners. Head to yourhometv.com for free, family-friendly programming, streaming 24/7.
Join Jimmy Jimbo Temple on Cowboys, Trailers, and Ranches and get ready for a crazy ride. From up-and-coming country western performers to ranchers with purpose, Jimmy takes you behind the scenes with a front row seat to all of the action. Cowboys, Trailers, and Ranches is dedicated to celebrating and preserving all things Western. Check them out on yourhometv.com.
Tune in to A Moment of Zen, Saturday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. on 710 WOR, the voice of New York.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Up in just a few minutes, in our Scandals segment brought to you by Your Home TV and Kathy Ireland Worldwide, today we're featuring our regular contributor, Imran Ansari, partner at Idala Bertuna Kamens, otherwise known as ABK Law, right here in the heart of New York City. He's also a legal contributor and analyst on Law and Crime and Court TV. Today we're chatting Young Thug's RICO case and the use of rap lyrics in criminal cases. Now, Young Thug was initially indicted for conspiring to violate the RICO statute and participating in criminal street gang activity. And in a reindictment filed in August of last year, prosecutors charged him with additional counts related to gang activity as well as drug and firearms violations. Now, in a pre-recorded address screened at Hot 97's Summer Jam back in June of 2022, he urged his fans to sign the Protect Black Art petition and keep praying for him. Now, the petition to protect Black art is a document co-written by 300 Entertainment CEO Kevin Liles. He first signed Thug and helped get his label YSL off the ground as a subsidiary company. And Atlanta Records CEO Julie Greenwald also wrote this act. Now, the document asks both federal and state legislators to adopt bills that limit the use of rap lyrics as evidence in a court of law. Thug's plea arrived on the heels of a sprawling 56-count RICO case against him, Gunna, and 26 members of his Young Stoner Life collective. Now, after 567 days in jail for Young Thug, the trial against him finally began at the end of November of last year. Now, we're going to tie it all together. Interestingly enough, running parallel to all of this, the man accused of killing Run DMC's Jam Master Jay can't have his rap lyrics used against him at a trial, is what a Brooklyn judge decided in a ruling not long ago. Now, there's a correlation here, and Imran and I are going to break it down for you. Now, the use of rap lyrics in criminal prosecutions has been a contentious subject in several high-profile cases, including the ongoing racketeering trial of Young Thug. And in that case, the judge allowed the lyrics to be presented at trial, a decision that defense attorneys say amounts to racist character assassination meant to poison a jury already skeptical of rap music. Now, in the context of Young Thug's case, Imran, how common is it for rap lyrics to be used as evidence in criminal prosecutions, and what challenges does this present for artists going forward?
Yeah, Zen. I mean, this is like you said, it's a hot button topic. In fact, right now it's the subject of what's called the RAP Act, which was introduced to Congress, which would ban the use of rap lyrics by a prosecutor in order to prove a crime in the court of law, and it's going to have resounding effects if that is the case, including on a case like this. But this case is well underway. They are using the lyrics by Young Thug against him to show or prove or help prove that he is an alleged gang member and part of a criminal enterprise. And that's the crux of that RICO charge, Zen, that the DA's office there, led by Fani Willis. So, you know, Fani Willis is, of course, the district attorney bringing the RICO case against former President Trump and others. But this is a RICO case under the same Georgia RICO statute that she and her office are bringing against Young Thug. They are looking to use those lyrics. They are using those lyrics. And of course, the defense for Young Thug are saying, listen, this isn't evidence of any sort of criminal enterprise. These are rap lyrics. We know that rap sometimes glorifies street life, gang culture, but it can't be taken as true. It's artistic expression from the streets, but it is not evidence that Young Thug and his co-defendants were engaged in some sort of criminal enterprise or gang, and perpetuating crime under that enterprise, which would be the crux of that RICO charge, Zen.
It's interesting to me that this ruling came in response to an attempt by federal prosecutors to introduce lyrics penned by Carl Jordan Jr. as evidence of his role in gunning down Jam Master Jay, who was a pioneering artist whose birth name was really Jason Mizell. But he died in 2002, and his death remains one of rap's most infamous slangs, right? So prosecutors had sought to introduce several lines written by Jordan that described first-person accounts of violence and drug dealing, including there was one specific line: "We aim for the head, no body shots, and we stick around just to see the body drop." Now, similar lines written by rappers Nas, Ice Cube, and Vince Staples, along with interviews with artists like Fat Joe and Future, who have publicly discussed the distance between their art and real lives. So this is, you can't use it for, in the context of one court and one jury in one case and then dismiss it for another. It's either an act or it's not. So with the recent ruling in the case of Jam Master Jay, how does it impact the use of rap lyrics as evidence in criminal trials? Because that was the complete opposite.
And that's why I think there needs to be some clarity under the law of when these sort of lyrics can be used against a criminal defendant. Now, Zen, I do believe that rappers and hip hop artists often rap about street life, their experiences in the inner city, the things that they have witnessed as individuals living many times in the inner city and experiencing things like gang life, and crime hands-on, and they rap about that. Sometimes there's some rappers who glorify that, and whatever you think about that, whether right or wrong, is another debate. But they do that. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they have done those crimes or committed those crimes. In fact, there are often rappers who get called out by other rappers saying that they're, just sort of, poser. They're a poser, and they don't really have that street cred and things like that. But I do think it's important that under the law, you do allow the ability to use lyrics when there is a connection, a very clear connection to a crime, and other evidence that would corroborate the individual's commission of the crime. So let's say someone, with glasses, red hair, and their name is Mary, was shot by rapper X, right? And then he goes into, and now there's some other evidence that may connect that individual, rapper X, to that crime. And then there were some lyrics in a rap song by rapper X where he says, "I shot the lady with the red hair and the glasses." That's going to be so specific and corroborated by other evidence that would be a situation where prosecutors shouldn't be handcuffed from not being able to use that lyric as an admission or evidence.
Okay, so to your point, according to its website, YSL stands for Young Stoner Life. It's the record label that includes artists Young Thug, Gunna, Yak Gotti, and Unfunk. Okay, they're all defendants in this trial. The prosecution is arguing that YSL also stands for Young Slime Life, which is a criminal street gang. Right? So
Absolutely.
In this case,
and the prosecution is going to have to prove that, and it's been a very long trial, Zen. This for quite some time. They had one individual who used to be a co-defendant with Young Thug and these other co-defendants who ended up testifying for the state after reaching a plea deal. And there were some moments during that testimony, Zen, where it may have backfired on the prosecution, where this individual actually testified in a way that would be more helpful to Young Thug and his co-defendants than the prosecution. There was, of course, some testimony from this individual that would help the prosecution, but it's going to be ultimately a very difficult case, not only because of the nature of the case, the defendants, and the evidence, and the prosecution has to establish certain things, but because it's a RICO case, and a RICO case in general are very difficult cases to prove. You have to prove that there's a criminal enterprise. They're all acting in furtherance of that criminal enterprise and committing individual crimes. Those have to then individually be proved beyond a reasonable doubt to this jury. And you have multiple defendants here, Zen. It's a trial that's been taking weeks, and it's a trial that has multiple defendants, multiple witnesses, and the prosecution are going to really have to link those rap lyrics along with other evidence in order to prove that RICO case. They have a very tough job ahead of them. Not to say that they won't be able to be successful at the end. This is going to be up to the jury, but it's a really complicated case. And now you see, very interestingly, the intersection between real life and possibly what is just art and hip hop life, right? And it's going to be something that's going to resonate, not just in this case, then, but as the lawmakers deal with the RAP Act, as individual states deal with this call to prevent prosecutors from using rap lyrics. California, for example, is a state that already prohibits the use of rap lyrics in criminal prosecutions as evidence of crime. And, you're going to see after this case around the country how individual states deal with this. And of course, the federal government with that RAP Act to consider before Congress.
So much to consider and so much at risk for a lot of these artists. But then again, it could be the smoking gun and it could be right there written by their very own, by themselves. And it's an admission of guilt in many respects. So considering the contentious nature of using rap lyrics in trials, because it is very contentious right now, this particular ruling, how do you think it's going to affect Young Thug's case, given the judge's decision in his ongoing racketeering trial?
Zen, if there's some sort of shift in the law, including in Georgia, and there's this issue, I'm sure this issue has been preserved by his defense team and the other defendants and their attorneys for an issue on appeal. And if there is an ability, if there is a conviction, of course, we have to, this hypothetical here is if there is a conviction, if there's, then you are sure that the defense teams will bring this issue up on appeal, especially if there's a shift in the law and that this evidence should not have been admitted before that jury as proof of a crime. And that would be an appellate issue, and it could lead to a reversal of a conviction if the prosecution are able to get a conviction against Young Thug and or any of these other co-defendants. So it's going to be interesting to see. And it's going to, if this law is not put into effect, if states are able to keep using this evidence without other corroboration, et cetera, you have to expect or wonder if it's going to have a chilling effect on artistic expression in hip hop. And, someone may be a little hesitant to rap or say something in their song because they don't know if it's going to be used against them when they didn't mean it that way. So there's that balance. You want to have this evidence if it's very strong and corroborative of a crime to be able to use as a prosecutor, but then also you don't want to have a chilling effect on the First Amendment and also artistic expression. And that's where the courts and the law have to balance those considerations, including in a case like Young Thug.
You said it, my friend. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I love that you broke it down for us as clearly as you did. You definitely have your work cut out for you. You analyze it so fluidly and make all of us understand these cases from both a legal perspective, both defense and prosecution. So you're really, really amazing at breaking down these cases. We love having you on.
Thanks for having me, Zen.
That was the Scandals segment brought to you by Your Home TV and their channel partners, Kathy Ireland Worldwide. That was the awesome Imran Ansari of Idala Bertuna Kamins, otherwise known as ABK Law, right here in the heart of New York City. He's also a regular contributor and legal analyst on Law and Crime and Court TV. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Your Home TV with Kathy Ireland and their channel partners. Head to yourhometv.com for free, family-friendly programming, streaming 24/7.
Are you looking to build a new home? Think about building a barn-dominium. There's just something about getting away from it all. Country living, fresh air, and outdoor entertainment. Watch luxury barn-dominium tours on Your Home TV and let Stacy Lynn, the barn-dominium lady, take you on a journey through her barn-dominium designs.
Tune in to A Moment of Zen, Saturday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. on 710 WOR, the voice of New York.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by CO2 Lift. As we age, our skin loses moisture and elasticity, causing wrinkled skin. You can reverse this aging process with CO2 Lift. CO2 Lift utilizes the powerful benefits of carbon dioxide to lift, tighten, and regenerate your skin. This simple, painless at-home carboxytherapy treatment is scientifically proven to reverse the aging process. You will see reduction in wrinkles, increase in luminosity, and improve pigmentation, sagging, skin tone, and radiance. For more information or to order CO2 Lift, go to CO2Lift.com.
Hello, my fellow New Yorkers. This is Zen Sams, your favorite iHeart Radio host from 710 WR, the voice of New York iHeart Radio. We're here at Beauty Through Science at Midtown Manhattan at the very famous Hilton Hotel. And we are with a very special guest today. We're with Dr. Michael Neistat, who is an anesthesiologist and a celebrity anesthesiologist at that. Tell us a little bit more about your practice.
Sure. So we have a very interesting practice where we focus on regeneration. So we regenerate everything from the mind to the body. We try to cover everything from mental wellness to body wellness, but not wellness in the sense of vain things, but more of health. So we want to try to fix your skin. We want to try to fix your body and anything like, distortions in skin like scars, fat distortions, fibrosis, cellulite. Anything really from head to toe. We have a great specialty in the face. So anything from hair. So if your hair is thinning, falling out, we're going to regenerate that to your face, to your neck. Anything like scars, we'll fix it. What we do uniquely is that we also take advantage of IVs. So we apply IV vitamins at specific high doses, and we combine it. So your outcomes are going to be very amazing. I can't speak enough of how our patients are very happy with their outcomes.
So you're a scientist, not only are you an anesthesiologist, you understand the products from deep within. Now, we are here at Beauty Through Science because Beauty Through Science really brings together the top educators, keynote speakers, and of course top surgeons from all over the world on a medical and non-medical side, bringing everyone together. And one of the main things that we focus here at BTS is we try to find the most innovative products. When we talk about non-invasive, it's extremely important to not just talk about products that are non-invasive, but medical grade non-invasive. So we've come across a product called carbon dioxide therapy for the skin. It's been around since the 1930s. Although the method of delivery has dramatically changed since then. It's no longer injected into the skin, it's topical. So carboxytherapy trends very well right now. Lots of people are using it as a skin rejuvenator, tightening, boosting elastin. You've heard of this product on a surface level. What's your take on carbon dioxide therapy in general?
Well, I think it's a great idea. Carbon dioxide, in theory, what it does is it causes vasodilation. What that means is it increases the blood vessels, so you have increased flow to the face. That's very important because then we're actually delivering a lot of pro-inflammatory agents in the blood that will help rebuild, and essentially that's very, very important in collagen formation. And so, especially for the treatments that we do in my office that are very regenerative, when we're actually placing stem cells and growth factors under the skin, and we're increasing your collagen formation with our high-dose vitamin C's, it's pivotal to have blood flow. Blood flow is very, very important because that'll actually increase the regeneration at a far faster and efficient rate. And the beauty of it is that some places may apply heat. I don't like that as much because that will really cause a lot of bleeding. This is not what that does. We're just causing the nutrients to kind of enter the face and reduce any kind of bleeding or trauma.
Yes, it's all about nutrient, blood-rich flow to the skin, rejuvenating that skin cutaneously for 45 minutes. And it's great as a monotherapy and as a combo therapy, and that's what I love specifically about this. Practitioners like yourself, surgeons from all over the world. We have Dr. Hoyas all the way in Colombia using this, comparing it to a hyperbaric chamber, because the effects that you get, the amount of CO2 gas released into the skin does exactly that. It's comparable. So it's interesting to see the use cases. Where do you think a therapy like this could be most beneficial for your practice used in?
Many. I mean, I already mentioned the face, the neck, but it's anywhere. I mean, even like small deposits of fat that are impossible to get rid of, stubborn fat. You can exercise every single day, but you may just have that stubborn fat. Why? Because you have poor blood flow to those areas. So this can be useful anywhere, even in my targeted fat loss treatments. the most important thing is actually having blood flow to those areas. Ischemia, you can actually have ischemia in certain parts of your area where you can have an ulcer. So for sure, you want to increase blood flow to those areas to regenerate. So many different applications.
You are spot on. We actually have double-blind studies. This actually, in fact, helps cure diabetic ulcers, psoriasis, eczema. Any closing thoughts, Dr. Michael?
I think it's a great product. I think it goes in hand with a lot of things we do in my office. So anything from head to toe, our goal is to regenerate, and I find that a very, very useful tool with or without our treatments, for sure.
All right, I have one more question. I know that you specialize in ketamine treatments.
Yes.
Okay, could be related, unrelated, but we're going to talk about ketamine right now very quickly. Give me the 30-second quick and dirty on ketamine treatments.
It's incredible. So unlike other psychedelics out there, ketamine has actually been scientifically proven. A lot of evidence that it works great. What's important is that you actually come into a physician, specifically an anesthesiologist, like myself, to make sure you're in the safest hands. So when you come to my office, we do it through the IV. You're going to get the perfect amount dosed based on what you need, and every time you come back, we're going to dose it up. It's going to be a short series of treatments, and it's going to make drastic changes in your lifestyle. Things that are restricting to you will not be restricting to you anymore. But this is a loaded question. There's a lot for me to talk about it.
Well, I'm sold. I'll definitely come. I'll definitely be visiting you, Dr. Michael. Thank you so much. Tell us how we can find you.
5thawm.com. So that's Fifth Ave. wellnessmedicine.com.
All right, thank you so much for joining us today. Guys, you're listening to 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. We're here at BTS Beauty Through Science at the Hilton in Midtown Manhattan for CO2lift.com. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by CO2 Lift. As we age, our skin loses moisture and elasticity, causing wrinkled skin. You can reverse this aging process with CO2 Lift. CO2 Lift utilizes the powerful benefits of carbon dioxide to lift, tighten, and regenerate your skin. This simple, painless at-home carboxytherapy treatment is scientifically proven to reverse the aging process. You will see reduction in wrinkles, increase in luminosity, and improve pigmentation, sagging, skin tone, and radiance. For more information or to order CO2 Lift, go to CO2lift.com.
Hi guys, this is Zen Sams on 710 WOR, the voice of New York iHeart Radio, and I'm here at the Hilton in Midtown Manhattan covering Beauty Through Science. I have the pleasure today of speaking with Dr. Mark Epstein from Mark Epstein Plastic Surgery right here in the tri-state area, Long Island. Welcome, my friend.
Thank you so much for having me on your show, Zen.
Absolutely. Tell us what you do.
I'm a plastic surgeon. I perform all aesthetic procedures, breast, body, face. We have a full-service medi-spa with the latest technology. I'm really a big techie. So we have all the latest in radio frequency, lasers, all sorts of treatments. And whatever delivers the best results, I'm into it.
I love that. All about results, very, very fast results. How long have you been in practice for?
I've been in practice for about 30 years and in my own private practice for 25 years.
We have an expert on our hands, my friend, which brings me to the next leading question. So carbon dioxide therapy, we've been talking here at BTS Beauty Through Science about this new non-invasive procedure called carbon dioxide therapy for the skin. CO2lift.com has an incredible product. What have you heard about this product and what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm very, very excited about it. Some of my body patients have had massage therapy where the therapists have used the system where you inject the CO2 into the skin. This is a topical product that uses a formulation of chemistry that basically ultimately improves blood flow into the skin. And it's used for face, it's used for body, it's also used for intravaginal. And I perform vaginal rejuvenation surgery. We do a lot of labiaplasties. We do radiofrequency treatments for feminine rejuvenation. So this is a natural complement to add to all our services. So I'm looking for improved wound healing, better experiences in healing after facial surgery, ablative laser, all sorts of treatments to the skin. It'll complement our wellness center, our patients who are on hormonal therapy for menopause and whatnot. It's going to serve a lot of purposes in our office, and I'm very excited to bring it in and find out all the applications that it will have to improve outcomes and patient experience, which of course is what it's all about.
Fantastic. That was a great, great endorsement. I love that you think so highly of this product. I personally myself have used it, and when we talk about non-invasive products for the skin, this is definitely high up there. It's also medical grade, I heard, and medical grade is not easy these days. You have to really, really know your research. They have 2 double-blind studies that are incredible. Once you look at the stats, they don't lie. Curing diabetic ulcers, eczema, psoriasis, dry and itchy skin, hyperpigmentation, the list goes on. And the most incredible part is that these treatments we can do in the comfort of our own home now with this new innovative technology. So I specifically love the CO2 Lift Pro because that gel is just so therapeutic and it left my skin feeling incredible. But I also tried, to your point, the vaginal rejuvenation. And one would argue I'm not premenopausal, and I'm not, but forget about just the dryness. Every woman will experience some level of dryness. This was rejuvenating. And when you talk about rushing rich oxygen blood to that tissue, that's exactly what happens. In the vulva, it happens as well. So I love the product.
Well,
so,
can I talk about sex?
Yes.
Okay. Well, as a woman gets older and they get the vaginal dryness, there are a lot of great solutions, lubricants you can use, but nothing is as good as natural lubricant, because the lubricants that you buy at CVS and whatnot, while they work and they make intercourse possible, they're a little too lubricated, and you need the friction to develop the pleasure sense. And nothing is better than a woman's natural lubrication. So if you can avoid needing to use external lubricants and you can find a way to endogenously use natural lubricant, sex is going to be better.
Yes, and less painful. Concludes our commentary for CO2 Lift. Thank you so much for chatting with us, Dr.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of Europe. We're covering beauty through science live right here in Midtown Manhattan at the Hilton. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is sponsored by FinTech TV.
FinTech TV, the newest streaming channel focused exclusively on the business of blockchain, digital assets, and sustainability. Broadcasting from our studio on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange with daily reports from NASDAQ, global expansion, and 24/7 coverage. Become part of the launch. Head to fintech.tv/invest. Fintech.tv/invest.
Tune in to A Moment of Zen Saturday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. on 710 WOR, the voice of New York.
Well, that's a wrap, my dear friends. Remember to join me right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, every Saturday night from 9 to 10 p.m. Or you could head to 710WOR.iHeart.com/A Moment of Zen. Also remember that we're live on Traverse TV Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern, YouTube Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern, and all episodes of A Moment of Zen are available on Your Home TV and Kathy Ireland worldwide, where they stream it 24/7 for 1 week. You could head directly to our channel at mox.yourhometv.com. Thank you for listening to us. It's been an absolute pleasure being your host. Thanks again to all of our sponsors that continue to make this show possible. And remember, happiness is the only thing that multiplies when you share it. We'll see you next week.